Hi there, thank you for joining me this rainy afternoon in Devon in the United Kingdom. Beautiful day, but it's beautiful here whatever the weather. Today I'm doing another reading an updated reading for Donald Trump, President of the United States. I'm using my crystal ball, which I've been looking at earlier, my psychic abilities, my spirit guides, my mediumship qualities, a few tarot cards as well. And we're going to look at the next 6 months, the way it looks for Donald Trump now. I've made a few notes, so if you see me reading, it's just to jog my memory because it's quite a complex reading. It's not a long reading, but it's quite a complex one. So thank you for joining me. And what we'll do first is look at what I picked up earlier. And this is all around Donald Trump, maybe some of his followers and his assistants, people he trusts, people he can't trust. And we'll see how it goes. Don't forget, if you'd like a psychic reading with me, go to my website, davidcharlespsychic.com. I'll put the link down below. And if you'd like a psychic reading with me, go there. Or my team. I've got a team of over 100 psychics that work for me. So, I think what we're looking at the moment is I'm looking at the people close to Donald and the people he trusts. And there'll be people coming through like Rubio, Elon Musk, JD Vance, and some of the family may pop up in this reading as well. So if you have any questions for me, stick them in the comments down there. I'd love to hear from you. I'll read all of them, answer most if I can. The first thing I wanted to concentrate on was the Emperor card. There, you'll see that there. You may not be able to, it may not focus, but this is really a symbol of calmness. Well, authority in a calm way, which doesn't suit Donald, I know, because he's not always calm, but at the moment, that's what it normally picks up. But it's a matter of leadership, really. And of course, it's about a person who's in control. So this is obviously why it came up. I'm using mainly major arcana cards today. So I think this month, Donald Trump will be watching people. I think he's feeling uneasy with some of the people around him. I think he's going to use his skills to weigh up the situations, every situation. Every gesture, every ripple of energy, he won't miss. He won't react impulsively for a change, because he is impulsive, of course. But he'll be watching and measuring who he feels is steady and who wavers. Who's with him, who's not with him, who's against him. And in this first month, I think Donald won't be in the mood for playing games with anyone. There's a lot of serious stuff going on. So particularly world leaders like Putin and Starmer, and some of the European people in authority who he doesn't suffer fools gladly, and I think he feels that he's losing his patience with some of the European people in this month ahead, and he considers them to be unelected, of course. So do a lot of people. So let me know in the comments what you think of that, because it may ring a few bells. Beside the Emperor, we have the Moon card here. Now I normally associate this with dodgy goings on possibly from females or a lady or more than one. But it has other hidden meanings as well. This card, the Moon card, often it shows hidden intuition and things that are not really on the show. They're unseen, in other words. So some people would think of this, well, I believe there's some some sneakiness going on behind Donald from a female or maybe more than one of them. In this particular case, it means that not everything is visible to Donald at the moment. Even so, the hidden movements and energy behind him, he's aware of it, but he's not quite sure what it is. That's the way I feel he is at the moment. He's fully alert. He takes in the details that other people might overlook. And he's always trusting his instincts more than he trusts people, really. So to guide him through what the public cannot see, he uses his own intuition, which he's done successfully over the years. That's why he's been so successful in business, of course. And it's not a coincidence, it's because he has psychic ability. And I've mentioned that quite a few times. Whether he understands that or if he's aware of it, I don't know. He may not even believe it, but he does have psychic ability. Well, we all have some, but he has quite a lot. So he needs to be careful, I believe, if you're watching Donald, if you're putting your trust into females, make sure you know that they're okay. Make sure maybe you get your daughter to look at them or somebody like that, because I think there's skullduggery going on. If that rings a bell to you out there watching this, let me know in the comments below. Then I'm picking up the Knight of Swords I picked up earlier. To me, this is JD Vance. Sharp, like a sword. bold when he wants to be, vocal when he wants to be, but even he at the moment, even his most daring things will be measured and strategic for the coming month ahead. Every word, every public appearance, every interview is going to test his perception and probably test his patience. He's going to gauge his reactions and be careful what he says. He's going to contribute to the largest picture that's going on around Donald Trump. I reckon during this next month, JD will be helping and assisting possibly with the dealings with Ghislaine Maxwell, who's in prison at the moment. When I'm reading this, she's in prison. And this reading shows me that she's still in prison, but I think she'll be out soon. I think a deal will be done for Ghislaine Maxwell in exchange for information. And I think it will be about her ex-boyfriend, Jeffrey Epstein, who we've all heard about, I think. I reckon further information will make many people very, very nervous. A lot of people out there are going to be wondering what's coming out next. And there's an awful lot to come out yet. As Al Jolson once said, you ain't seen nothing yet. Of course, she tries to pull the wool over if she tries to pull the wool over JD Vance's eyes, it won't work. It's far too smart for that, and he'll see through it. I also see Elon Musk again, and he's in and out all the time, isn't he? But he radiates to me the King of Pentacles. Where have I put that? There it is. If that'll focus for you, I'm not sure. He's always influential, he's practical, he's grounded. That's a stupid word, but that's what everyone calls it. I think small gestures from him will bring financial and technological shifts, okay? You'll know what that means if you're a technological person. This role will be subtle and it will influence global perception of him, the team, and Donald Trump. There's a kind of on-off love-hate relationship between Elon, I call him Elton John, but Elon and the other members of the leadership. They don't always want him to interfere, but when he does, they know that he always makes sense in the end, put it that way. It's not just about money with him either. He's not a one-trick pony, as they call it, especially in America, one-trick pony. He's a smart character. It's better to have him on your side than not have him on your side at all, or not have him on your side. And he will come up with some vital help and information at this time in the coming month and the next period. So although it may never be seen or known by the public, this, I think, is a point where I believe that he will be influencing the team. And then I can see a point where Marco Rubio will be getting much more involved as well, particularly with the public speaking. His influences on the rest of the team, Marco Rubio is a smart character. And I also believe he's becoming a bit of a heartthrob with the girls. I think lots of ladies quite like Marco, and in fact they like him a lot. But let me know in the comments, are you in love with Marco Rubio? Let me know if you're one of them, because I think a lot of people are. And he will be very flattered if he watches this reading to know that. Then we got the Queen. Where will we put the Queen? Queen of Cups. In that, of course, in an ordinary deck, that would be the Queen of Hearts. And I see Ivanka in this role, and I think she's protecting, she has a protective energy around her. She'll be soothing for her dad, emotionally, guiding for Donald, her husband Jared, also in this, I think, the Page of Pentacles. There he is, if you know about tarot cards. He's quietly observant, he negotiates and aligns things behind the scenes. I think Ivanka is strong spiritually. I think her husband is also strong emotionally. So together they make quite a powerful team and an influential team as well. They're always in the background. They keep their nose out of it publicly some of the time, but believe me, they are a big influence on Donald Trump. And they're always there for him when he needs them. That's the main thing. He knows if he's not getting on with his team, that Ivanka will be there. And whether he can trust the others is a different story altogether. So globally, at this time, when you talk about the whole world, with Donald Trump, Europe, Russia, and UK are sensing those rising tensions. And that's Russia, Ukraine, and Europe, and the UK. And they're reluctant to release any information to the public, as always, keep us in the dark. Diplomatic currents ripple quietly, and even things about the Chagos Islands emerge again as a major, well, ethically significant thread. So Trump notes everything about this, every movement, every signal, every hidden shift, because there's things being hidden from him about the Chagos Islands, yet he seems to remain calm. He seems to remain calm. So you can picture him in a room with energy, a subtle energy, each person moving carefully, every gesture carrying a weight. So his team, I think that Donald Trump's got himself a really good team around him, which is a big help. They don't take over, they don't push him to use electric pens, but they're there, and most of the time, the decisions they come up with together, I think the positioning they do, the quiet moments for the months ahead, will be really good for him. I think this month will seem to be charged with energy for him, for Donald, and for the people and the politicians that are moving around very carefully, because the tensions in the world are growing, unfortunately. I think it's a time when every gesture, every word will carry weight. There's a feeling, I believe, that one false move could cause a real problem, especially when it's really talking about world peace, where that's concerned. So it's a cautionary month ahead now from the day you read this you see this reading. So I hope that all makes sense for you. You've got Ghislaine Maxwell there, Putin, Starmer, and of course Starmer, one of the most, well, he's not one of the most, is the most disliked Prime Minister of the UK has ever known. That goes way back before Churchill. The second month, I think the reading for the second month is dominated by the Wheel of Fortune. There we are. And the Temperance card as well. Is that focusing for you? I'm not sure if it will. I think this time the Wheel of Fortune, because it's about luck and change of luck usually, but it's about timing and momentum, that's the word. For Donald Trump, I think change is necessary, but it's not really welcome. Small shifts will ripple outward like a pebble when you drop it in a pond, and the waves go out and they get bigger and bigger, producing effects. I think the significance of this card will be that it will be showing things that are beyond what most people would even notice. And paired with the Temperance card, where we are, which, if you remember the Temperance movement years ago, it means moderation in all things. So it's about balance, blending energies, and for Donald, careful with navigation. He's got to work his way through things. And I think his wife, Melania, will be quietly involved in this in the background. I think she is involved a lot more than people realise. I think she's the one person that he can trust more than anyone else in the world. This month, to me, the second month, he'll be dealing with the UK politicians, and they'll become these things between the UK politicians and Donald Trump are going to get very strained indeed, and he's starting to get fed up with them. The UK government seems to be intent on causing problems. It's almost as if they want the special relationship to end. I'm not saying they do, but it's just the way it feels. They're just being awkward all the time. They'll need to be very careful and very cautious, because Donald is beginning to lose his patience with them, as I said, and he won't stand it forever. As far as the UK is concerned, I think there'll be very strict conversations with him about the UK's apparent lack of freedom of speech. Donald Trump is really mad about this. The UK are locking up 12,000 people a year just for tweets on the internet. And Donald and JD Vance will be insisting that the UK government deal with this problem, and they deal with it soon. They'll want them to deal with it very quickly. They won't stand it forever. Trump, I think, becomes more visible with the public perception. He's showing himself more to the public, which he likes doing. I think he stays calm, which he's not good at. I think he stays measured and strategic. Every gesture, appearance, every statement, I think, subtly will shift the perception that he has without it being forceful. Donald really is encountering lots of problems regarding his approach to removing illegal immigrants. There's problems around that all the time. He's determined to go on with it. He was elected for that, to do with illegal immigration, and he is determined to go on with it. But he's got to be more careful because he's upsetting. Well, the people enforcing it for him are upsetting people, as you know. Demonstrations are becoming more frequent in this second month, much more troublesome, and I think it will get even worse as the summer weather approaches, and demonstrations are much more comfortable. JD Vance continues, I think, as the Knight of Swords energy. Where do we have him? There he is. Strategic, deliberate, testing responses, and influencing download in a positive way, downloading from his mind. Elon Musk, the King of Pentacles, is adjusting quietly, timing signals and perception. Ivanka, the Queen of Cups, there we have, seems to be getting much more involved in political decision making. Jared, Page of Pentacles, quietly observing, gathering insight, negotiates quietly in the background. He's actually, I think he's doing a lot of the things of the press conferences and things like that, interviews, etc. More than he used to do, so he's been brought into it more. If we look on the global scene for the second month, I'm picking up Israel, the UAE, United Arab Emirates, Iran. They're moving cautiously, responding to subtle shifts. Very cautiously, but they are moving. Europe, I think, recalibrates internally. The UK will adjust priorities quietly. Even the Chagos Islands will influence diplomatic energy in its own subtle ways. If you think the Chagos thing is over, the UK government, then you're wrong, because it's not. And it's not going to be dealt with properly for a while. And Donald Trump is watching everything. He's noting opportunities and he's taking notice of the risks. Monumentum's going to build quietly this month. I think it deepens the foundation, reinforcing strategic influences and preparing larger shifts to come. And Donald's ready for that. And there's a lot going on in the next few months. That's why it's such a complex reading. It's not a long reading, but it's complex. So when we get to the third month, we have the Tower card. And you may see that. It can be a bit unnerving, a bit scary, but it's never as bad as it looks. It just means, well, I'll tell you what it means. And we also have the Star card in this month. And this is a nice card. So you got one bad one and one that's not so bad. So I think I dropped the card on the floor there. So the Tower card in this particular thing, although it can be unnerving, the picture's not very pleasant. But it can be a sign of a major upheaval or major trouble ahead. However, at the same time, it can also be warning that things need to change. So they may not be pleasant changes, but they're necessary. So Donald Trump will know this in the third month. In this particular reading, the Tower card, I believe, it's a sudden revelation of disruption and testing. So it'll be a testing time for Donald. But it's not a destructive warning. It just means get ready for an upheaval in this particular case, because it's going with all the other cards as well. This upheaval will tell the Donald Trump team what's steady, what's strong and what is not. Some things that he needs to be cautious of. As always, Donald will remain composed. Well, is he always? But he is at the moment. And he's going to test alignment, measure the energy of this turbulence. He's calm, present, symbolises the environment even as changes unfold around him. JD Vance is going to be bold in this month, dealing with this, helping deal with this change in time. He'll be energising his support as well. Elon Musk, again back in, influences the outcomes of this change. The timing, perception behind the scenes he's very good at. Ivana will navigate the messaging, messages, phone calls, that sort of thing. Protection, emotional protection and all that kind of stuff. And Jared will be observing, adjusting and having talks with people who are involved, especially the press and maybe the TV companies. Globally, this is important, globally, Europe is going to experience turbulence. Russia and Ukraine are starting to ripple about unpredictably. At this time, the UK navigates internal priorities and strong public disorder in the UK, and that will get worse as well as the summer weather comes. The UK are furious with the mismanagement by this present government. The Chagos Islands emerge again significantly, and if the UK government think the Chagos thing is over, they better think again, because it's not, and it's going to need a lot of diplomatic energy. But the star card, where have we got? I can figure it out. Sort of balances it out, because the star card brings hope and guidelines and stability, or stabilization anyway. Even if it's amid upheaval, the clarity will emerge, and Donald will sense this with his energy, grounding himself as he's good at doing, calm insight, many surprises ripple around through the month for him, unexpected reactions, slight misalignments for Donald, especially from the allies, or he perceives them to be allies, small shifts in global currents as well. And during this month, the third month, Donald's team will need to be dynamic, they'll need to be alive, and they'll be having to have their wits about them and observe things that are going on and make strategic calculations. This month 3 is about resilience, awareness, finding clarity, disruption, and every ripple of this interaction is noted and it's looked at carefully by Donald strategically. In the background of all of this, Donald will find himself receiving medical advice. Now, I've been a bit worried about this, but I think he's got some medical problems and they may not be revealed at this time. I feel he's got trouble with his lower back, his legs, especially the right leg. I also think he's been warned to stop overdoing it and get more rest time and more sleep. Although the doctors will tell him this advice, I reckon that he'll only listen to his wife, and she's going to be the one that gets him to take any notice, as often happens with us blokes, of course. Month 4, justice. Where are we? There we are. Justice and temperance. Temperance again. So month number 4 brings justice, and temperance, as you may know, is calling for ethics, fairness, balance, measured recalibration, agreements and decisions. They'll all carry weight across the political spectrum, and it wants personal and global things to get balanced and in tune and even. Donald Trump moves deliberately, I think, deliberately balancing public perception of him. And he'll do that privately. As I've mentioned before in this reading, he's good at looking things and taking notice of things when people don't realise that he is. JD Vance continues with strategic stuff, influencing, providing sharp energy that guides alignment and momentum without the chaos. Elon Musk is still around, I believe, at this time, because he's in and out all the time. His timing, his perfection and subtlety is good, while Jared seems to be enjoying, I reckon, public speaking. He's getting pretty good at that. He also finds that he's almost like a pop star following now, especially with the young ladies. So it's a bit like the other chap we mentioned earlier. He may not realise it, but I think his wife Ivanka has lots of groupies as well. So they're both quite popular with the youngsters. Then to Europe. Europe debates at this time internally, recalibrating positions, considering alliances. Israel and the UAE and Iran move cautiously, but they do move. The US government will be adjusting reluctantly, and the Chagos Islands continues to be a problem. Wait and see. If you think about that, any thoughts on that, let me know in the comments. The discontent among the British people becomes a major problem, and it's becoming, I think, news all over the world. The UK people are getting fed up. The people here in this country want change. And that's what they want, and they want it fast. Mass illegal immigration is behind it, and Donald Trump and his team, I think, are watching this. They're going to be watching it very closely. The UK is under their microscope, if you want to put it that way, and they're not missing a trick. Because the UK has been for years, many years, very important as a team with the United States, and it needs to stay that way. And Donald wants it to stay that way, even though the UK government seem to be trying to sabotage it. I think Donald notices minor openings created by mishaps or everywhere around him, people doing things wrong. He'll get to observe it, he aligns it, and he'll prepare every gesture, every pause, every statement that he carries significance. I think many surprises will emerge, unexpected responses, shifts in global energy and subtle alignments will be part of this month. That sets the stage for month 5 and 6. So unfortunately, I see lots of problems this month with the American public, and I think this may include riots, violence and general public unrest, unfortunately. I hope I'm wrong with that, but I don't think I will be. The American leadership just can't win at the moment in this month. If they please half the public, it seems to me they upset the other half. So it's a hiding to nothing, as we say in this country. Month 4 is about diplomacy, ethical alignment, preparation and building invisible momentum. That's what month 4, it's necessary because the transformative leap is to come and it will happen during this month. I think month 5, the High Priestess is the main card there. Where are we, the High Priestess? Where are you gone? There she is. This means it'll be time for preparation, hidden knowledge, publicity. Trump may appear still, but he appears, but he seems to be internally observing, calculating and mapping patterns. I think it's because he's not been too well and he's having a bit of pain, as I said, with his lower back and his legs. I think he'll be planning things that even his closest advisors are not aware of. He can be secretive when he wants to be, of course. I think he'll appear to have slowed down physically, but I think certainly it hasn't showed that he'll slow down mentally, emotionally. It seems to me that he never rests at all. He doesn't seem to get any sleep, does he? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Now, JD Vance is precise, strategic and deliberately testing perception of key moments. You'll know what that means, I'm sure. Elon Musk may not be around so much this month, but his influence is still strong. Ivanka continues to project narratives and emotional energy. Jared observes and negotiates, aligns and actions subtlety, but he becomes more and more forefront recently, and I think not just hiding behind the scenes, is showing himself more. Globally, that's the big thing, Europe recalibrates. I feel that there will be public order problems in France, so watch out, the French people. Something I think to do with strikes, not so much about immigration, but there will be something linked to immigration, but strikes are a big thing as well. I think there'll also be further trouble in the UK, although Donald Trump is not directly involved in it, in this mayhem, but he will be watching very closely. He gets involved in it from a distance. I think Donald Trump will absorb all the signals, even when global time differences occur. He doesn't miss a trick when he should be sleeping, really. Every gesture, every comment, every pause is noted, integrated and stored in his mind for future action. This bloke, he seems to be able to do so many jobs at once, a jack of all trades and pretty good at all of them. The energy this month is quiet but powerful. It's almost as if Donald is preparing everything before he leaps into action. He's getting ready for something. To sum up the predictions for this month, I reckon subtle movements, quiet observation, unseen negotiations, which may be kept secret as well, invisible alignments. I think Donald's energy is composed, strategic and patient. Month 5, I think, is preparation and celebration for transformation. So get ready for that. Let's have a look. There we are. Month 6 now, we've got the Fool. There we have the Fool, which I picked up earlier, and the Emperor. Now, month 6 arrives, I feel, with the Fool and the Emperor. And to me, it tells me that bold action is paired with composed authority. So Bold action is coming, but composure is necessary. And Trump, I think, is ready for calculated, surprising leaps. A leap of fortune. As you see the fool doing there, almost leaping off a cliff. Previous figures from the background, I think, now become more influential as well. I think they'll be adding intrigue to all this and the shifting dynamics. I think JD Vance will indeed be needed at this time, and I mean really needed, because I feel Donald may need to take a break. I think he's overdoing it again. I still think he's overdoing it, and I don't think he'll stop. Globally, in this month, I think the Middle Eastern energy and the UK will need to adjust. I feel that the public unrest in the UK and France is beginning to spread, and that can be because of immigration, illegal immigration mainly, and it's going to go right through Europe. And as the summer approaches, well, the summer's there by now, of course, things are going to get worse. It needs to be looked at. I always find that the Fool, to me, represents new beginning, risk-taking. It usually means it's time to take a chance, especially if it's private reading. And if you'd like a private reading with me, don't forget to go to my website, davidcharlespsychic.com. I'll put a link below. And you may want me to do a witchcraft spell for you to bring your lover back or something like that. All my witchcraft spells are on the website, and I can do it for you the same night you order it. Now, in this month, Donald Trump, going back to Donald, he seems to be playful and confident, yet he's calculated. Sometimes he looks like he wants to have a bit of fun with everything. And he's got actions that are going on subtly and indirectly, statements that will be creating more and more ripple effects that normally amplify his perception and his influence. The Emperor, there we are, anchors this action, and I think together they're going to be. He's going to take leaps that are going to transform him. He's going to be calculated, he's going to be bold, but he's going to be surprising. People around him won't know what's coming. He's going to surprise them with many surprises and big surprises throughout this month as well. That leads to the final twist of culminations of the month. And I think all of these months together will bring subtle but powerful reshaping perception influences and energy. Allies feel aligned. Observers pause, and I think Donald Trump's composed energy orchestrates a powerful transformative moment. However, I do feel that there'll be minor problems and major problems, especially with Russia and the USA together. So things are becoming very tense indeed. So I hope it's all okay in the end. But the relationship between Trump and Vladimir Putin will be on the brink. So watch out for that. Let me know in the comments what you think. It will be, I think, time for calmness and both sides to ease off a bit, to back off a bit. So, looking at the whole of this spread of cards together, and they are quite significant. The Emperor means, there he is, the Emperor means authority, control, strategic leadership. The Moon, as I said earlier, hidden currents, especially from females, hidden patterns, unseen goings on from females, interference or even worse. The Wheel of Fortune, there we are. Timing, cycles, momentum, things changing, and I think things improving in some ways and not in other ways. The Tower, which I managed to drop on the floor. Time for clarity is needed. It's a time of testing as well, testing people's resolve. The Star, there we are, hope, guidance, stabilization, temperance, balance, blending, diplomacy, all that kind of stuff. Justice. This means ethical fairness, recalibration, people getting what they deserve. Really. A lot of karma around this card. The High Priestess, where are you, lady? There she is. Preparation, insight, subtle energy, especially female energy, by the way. The Fool. Normally, I always say take a chance. This means take a leap of faith, a bold leap, transformation, that kind of thing. And I think the whole story of this reading is one of patient observation, strategic preparations, subtle global ripples, and I think careful contribution of the Allies, and a final leap that surprises and transforms perception. It, to me, is composed and immersive, and I think exactly the energy that Trump moves with over the next 6 months. So let me know in the comments what you think of that. Please give it a like if you like it. I know it's some of it's complicated, but I think there's a lot going on, and a lot of it may be a bit disturbing, a bit worrying, but it can be dealt with. There's nothing there to suggest really bad things. So if you'd like a psychic reading with me, go to my website down there, davidcharlespsychic.com. If you'd like a witchcraft spell performed by me for you to bring finances your way, or love, or bring your lover back, go to my website and they're on there, and I'll do it the night you order it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give it a like, make some comments. Please make some comments, because I do read them all. And I hope that wasn't too complex for you. That's why I needed the notes, because it's one of the most complicated readings I've done, and slightly involved as well. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you soon. Look after yourself. Remember what I said to you many times. If you're lonely, special hello to you. I'll see you soon. Take it easy. I love you all, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.